Deep in Lebanon's Bkia Valley stands one of the most puzzling ancient sites on Earth. Baalbek, a place where stone blocks weighing more than commercial airliners sit perfectly aligned. These aren't ordinary building blocks. They're the largest cut stones ever used in construction, and nobody can fully explain how they got there. The ruins look Roman at first glance. Towering columns pierce the sky. The Temple of Jupiter dominates the landscape, but look closer at the foundation beneath those Roman structures. That's where the real mystery begins. Those massive stones predate the Romans by thousands of years. They belong to an earlier era, an era that left behind no written records, no blueprints, no explanations. Beneath the Roman stonework lies a foundation of megalithic blocks. These stones are older, larger, and more precisely cut than anything the Romans constructed. The difference is striking when you examine them side by side. Roman masonry looks almost crude in comparison. Ancient historians were just as baffled as modern researchers. Greek writers described Baalbek as the work of giants. Arab chroniclers claimed it was built before the Great Flood. Local legends connected the site to Baal, the ancient Canaanite sun god. The name Baalbek itself means Lord of the Bikaya Valley. Biblical texts reference this region as a center of Baal worship. The site held religious significance long before Rome existed. But who built the original foundation remains unknown. No inscriptions identify the builders. No tool marks reveal their methods. The nearby quarry contains unfinished stones, but there's no evidence of how completed blocks were transported. No ramps, no roads, no infrastructure capable of handling these weights. Some researchers suggest the Phoenicians built the platform. Others propose an unknown pre-Roman civilization that vanished without trace. But no theory adequately explains what we're seeing. The engineering is too advanced, the scale is too ambitious, the precision is too perfect. The foundation seems to exist outside our historical timeline. It belongs to a chapter of human history that's been erased or forgotten. And the most astonishing part of Baalbek still lies ahead. The Trilithon, stones that shouldn't be possible. 3 stones form the heart of Baalbek's mystery. They're called the Trilithon. Each block weighs approximately 800 tons. To put that in perspective, a fully loaded Boeing 747 weighs around 400 tons. Each of these stones weighs more than 2 jumbo jets. They sit side by side in the western wall of the platform. Their placement is extraordinarily precise. The surfaces are perfectly flat. The corners form exact right angles. The alignment between blocks is accurate to within millimeters. You cannot slide a piece of paper between them. No mortar binds them together. They simply rest against each other with such precision that friction and weight hold them in place. This joint work represents a level of craftsmanship that's difficult to achieve even with modern tools. The Romans were master builders. Their engineering accomplishments are legendary, but they never attempted construction on this scale. The largest stones in the Colosseum weigh around 50 tons. That's impressive, but it's nowhere near 800 tons. The mystery deepens when you visit the quarry. There you'll find the Stone of the South. This block weighs between 1,000 and 1,200 tons. It's the largest cut stone ever discovered anywhere in the world, and it was never moved from where it was carved. In 2014, archaeologists made an even more remarkable discovery. Beneath the Stone of the South lay another block. Researchers nicknamed it the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, too. Its estimated weight is 1,650 tons. That's equivalent to 4 adult blue whales. These stones weren't abandoned randomly. They were prepared for transport. The cutting is complete. The shaping is finished. Whoever carved them fully intended to move them to the construction site. But something stopped them before they could complete the task. The impossible physics of moving megaliths. The quarry sits about 900 meters from the temple platform. That's just over half a mile. It doesn't sound far. But there's a problem. The route runs uphill at an incline of approximately 5 degrees. That slope creates an enormous engineering challenge. For stones weighing over 1 million kilograms, even a slight incline multiplies the difficulty exponentially. Modern heavy lift equipment requires careful planning for such operations. The idea that ancient workers accomplished this with primitive tools strains credibility. Engineers have attempted to recreate the process using ancient methods. Small-scale experiments with sledges, rollers, and lubrication show promise for moving 100-ton blocks short distances. But scaling up to 800 tons changes everything. The physics breaks down. Wooden rollers would splinter under the weight. Ropes would snap from the tension. The friction alone would make movement nearly impossible. Teams of thousands of workers couldn't generate enough coordinated force to overcome these obstacles. Consider our most advanced modern equipment. The Liebherr LR 11,000 crawler crane can lift around 1,200 tons under ideal conditions. That's barely enough for the largest Baalbek stones, and it requires hydraulic systems, steel cables, and precise computer controls. NASA's crawler transporters, built to move space shuttles and rockets, can handle similar loads. But they move at less than 1 mile per hour on perfectly flat surfaces. They represent the pinnacle of modern engineering, dedicated solely to moving heavy objects. Yet, ancient builders at Baalbek moved comparable stones uphill across rough terrain. Then they lifted them 20 feet into the air. Then they positioned them with millimeter accuracy, all without cranes, hydraulics, or steel. The precision placement is perhaps more impressive than the movement itself. Setting an 800-ton block requires extraordinary control. Even with modern cranes, positioning takes hours of careful adjustment. One miscalculation could damage the stone or collapse the structure. At Baalbek, the blocks fit together perfectly. The alignment is geometric, not just architectural. The Trilithon forms part of a larger pattern in the platform's design. The symmetry suggests mathematical planning at the highest level. Every conventional explanation for how this was accomplished fails under scrutiny. Astronomical precision and sacred geometry. Baalbek's mysteries extend beyond the stones themselves. The platform's orientation reveals another layer of sophistication. It aligns almost perfectly with the cardinal directions. The corners of the platform track the sun's position during the solstices. This suggests the builders understood astronomy and deliberately incorporated solar observations into their design. They weren't just constructing a building. They were mapping celestial movements onto the Earth. This astronomical alignment isn't unique to Baalbek. The same pattern appears at sites around the world. The pyramids of Giza align to true north with remarkable accuracy. Teotihuacan in Mexico incorporates solar and stellar alignments into its layout. Stonehenge famously marks the summer solstice. These sites span continents and cultures that supposedly never contacted each other. Yet they share the same astronomical obsessions. The mathematics are particularly intriguing. Baalbek's layout incorporates 3-4-5 ratios. These numbers create perfect right triangles. Why build with such precision? A temple doesn't need millimeter accuracy to function. The astronomical alignments aren't necessary for worship. Yet the builders invested enormous effort to incorporate all these elements. One theory suggests Baalbek wasn't built for the Roman temple at all. The megalithic platform may have supported something far older. Perhaps an astronomical observatory. The Roman structures could be relatively recent additions to a much more ancient site. Another possibility is that the builders were preserving knowledge in stone, geometry and astronomy encoded into the foundation itself, a record that would survive even if their civilization collapsed. Ancient builders seem to have used architecture as a form of communication, global connections, and shared techniques. When you compare Baalbek to other ancient sites worldwide, surprising similarities emerge. In Peru, the fortress walls of Sacsayhuaman feature multi-ton blocks fitted together with impossible precision. Each stone has a unique shape. They interlock like three-dimensional puzzle pieces. No mortar fills the gaps. You cannot insert a knife blade between them. The similarity to Baalbek is striking. Different hemisphere, different culture, same engineering philosophy. These monuments share other traits beyond construction methods. They're all built to resist earthquakes. The massive stones and tight joints create structures that flex rather than crumble during seismic events. Many have survived major earthquakes that destroyed everything built around them. They also share geographic curiosities. Several major megalithic sites align along specific latitudes and longitudes. The cultural myths surrounding these sites also overlap. Stories of giants building the structures appear in legends worldwide. Tales of gods teaching construction techniques to humans are common. Even the names hint at connections. Baal, the deity associated with Baalbek, means lord or master. The concept of sky gods and sun deities building or inspiring great monuments is nearly universal. These parallels raise profound questions. Did these ancient cultures have contact we don't know about? Was there a shared ancestor civilization that spread knowledge before disappearing? Recent discoveries in hidden chambers. Archaeological work at Baalbek continues to reveal new surprises. Recent excavations in the quarry uncovered stones even larger than previously known. The German Archaeological Institute has conducted extensive studies at the site. Their analysis confirms that these massive stones were indeed intended to be moved and placed. The tool marks on the stones provide additional clues. Close examination reveals cutting patterns more sophisticated than typical Roman techniques. Some researchers believe these marks indicate knowledge of stone properties and cutting angles that represents expert-level masonry. Geological analysis has confirmed what the architecture suggests. Parts of the Baalbek foundation predate Roman occupation by centuries. Perhaps most intriguing are recent geophysical surveys using ground-penetrating radar and seismic imaging. These scans have detected possible voids and chambers beneath the platform. Spaces that haven't been excavated due to political instability in the region and concerns about damaging the site. What might these underground spaces contain? They could represent earlier construction phases. Perhaps burial chambers or storage areas. Or they might be natural voids that influenced where the platform was built. Without excavation, we can only speculate. Some researchers theorize these chambers could hold answers to Baalbek's mysteries. The discoveries of the past decade have fundamentally changed our understanding of Baalbek. We now know the stones are larger than previously documented. The message in Stone Baalbek forces us to reconsider assumptions about ancient capabilities. We imagine a steady progression from primitive to sophisticated, but Baalbek doesn't fit that timeline. The builders possessed practical skills we still struggle to replicate. The Romans recognized something special about Baalbek. They didn't build on just any hilltop in Lebanon. They chose this specific location with its ancient foundation. They became caretakers of something greater than themselves. What were the original builders trying to achieve? Perhaps they sought to create something that would outlast their civilization. Baalbek stands today precisely because it was built to endure forever. The astronomical alignments and geometric proportions suggest another purpose. Maybe Baalbek served as a record of knowledge. If this theory is correct, then Baalbek isn't just a mystery to solve, it's a message to decode.